Hello and welcome to Wagner's Tech Talk. It's been nearly a year ago since my last retro computing video, so we're going to start out with a device for this computer that was released in June of 1981, the TI-99 4A home computer. This is actually the TI-99 4 with a bunch of peripherals. However, as you can see from this photo, you had better have a really long desk. That was until 1982 when the peripheral expansion box was released. This handy device and very heavy device allowed you to expand it easily. You could add disk drives, 32k memory expansion, disk controller cards, and all kinds of devices. Now let's fast forward 37 years later. In 2018, JediMat42 and Electric Lab shocked the retro computing community by releasing the Tippie. The Tippie provides 32k memory expansion, 3 emulated drives, internet access, all by harnessing a Raspberry Pi. And just 2 years later, JData creates this awesome version of the Tippie that fits in a speech synthesizer housing. It also uses a Raspberry Pi, in this case a Raspberry Pi Zero-W. We finally have a good reason to use this door on the speech synthesizer. If this sounds intriguing to you, well, let's check it out right now. JData was kind enough to send me one of the early production runs of the TIPI 32k that fits in the speech synthesizer housing. I knew I had an extra Raspberry Pi Zero-W on hand, but I did not have an extra speech synthesizer housing, so he did include that, which was really nice. Inside, he included all the connectors that we're going to need, and a few additional ones that we're not going to use for this particular video. But everything is included in this kit to be able to get the Raspberry Pi Zero-W up and running. Alright, let's start out with, I'm going to open my existing speech synthesizer so you can see what it looks like on the inside. So you just remove the 2 screws, and this is what the internals of the speech synthesizer looks like. I think it's pretty awesome how JData was able to cram all of the cool features of the Tippie from JediMat and Electric Lab into a single PCB, which easily connects up to a Pi Zero-W. Make sure that you get a Pi Zero-W and not the Pi Zero. There are 2 different kinds. Let's take a quick look at the components that he sent, and we'll identify the ones that we're going to use in this particular video. First off, you have this 4-pin header. We're going to be using that. While I'm not going to be using this jumper, it is used to change the CRU address, which is also used to eliminate conflicts with other accessories or disable onboard RAM. Be sure to check out JData's wiki. It's got a ton of information. It's what I use to help put mine together, and I think it'll be very helpful for you, so definitely check it out. I'll also put a link down below in the description. I had previously installed the heatsink in my Raspberry Pi Zero-W, but if you need one, it's included as well. We will use this connector. We'll solder this onto the Pi Zero-W, and we will use this female-to-female jumper wire. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and position where the connector needs to go. So we'll just place that right there. And we'll go ahead and make sure the soldering iron is heated up properly and get it nice and warm so we can go ahead and solder our first pin. Now in this case I used just a tad too much solder, so you'll see a slight solder ball here, but that's okay. Then I got a little bit smarter. It was moving around on me, so went ahead and used this device here to go ahead and solder the rest of the pins, and things went much better, and I applied a more even amount of solder on the remaining pins. Still not perfect, but good enough for me. Now we'll take a closer look at it, and if you look right here, you'll see a little blob. It's not going to affect the ability for the Pi to work, so not too worried about it. Now we're going to go ahead and put this 4-pin header on here and here and here and here. So we'll just put the header pin through the holes. Maybe. And we'll flip it upside down and go ahead and secure it with a little bit of solder so it won't slide around on me. And apply it to one of the pins. And then once we do that, we'll go ahead and solder the remaining pins. Like so. Cool. Now we are ready to attach the jumper wire. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take pin 4 over here on the Pi and plug in the jumper wire there. And then we're going to take the other end and plug it into the 5-volt over here on the TIPI 32k board. Now that we've done that, we can pull power from the TI, and we'll go ahead and plug in this connector here, which will secure the Raspberry Pi Zero W to the TIPI 32k board. Now it's slightly tricky getting the Pi up under the little platform here in the speech synthesizer housing, but you'll get a feel for it after you do it a couple of times, which I've done a couple of times, and it gets a little easier. Now we'll put the housing back on and install the 2 screws that came with the speech synthesizer housing. And the hardware for the TIPI 32k is now fully assembled. Next, we need to download the Raspberry Pi image for the Tippie. So we'll go to Jedi Matt's website and download the image. We'll use this image on the Raspberry Pi Zero W, and the download's approximately 1 gig. Once downloaded, we'll use Balena Etcher in order to burn the image. Link down below. Now select the image. So we click the Select Image button and select the image. Then click the Open button. Now we're going to select the target, which is our 64 gig microSD card. You can use a much smaller card if you want. Then click Flash and Continue. The image will then get written to the microSD card, so make sure that you selected the correct drive letter. Once flashed, it'll then go through validation, and we are ready to install it in our Raspberry Pi Zero W. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can use the original speech synthesizer with your TIPI 32k. Just slide it over on the right hand side of the TIPI 32k, and all is good. Before we get into the software setup, I'd like to remind you to please click the like button if you are enjoying this video. It really helps the channel out. I appreciate it. And if you wish to subscribe, that would be awesome too. Alright, on to the software. Once you've turned on your TI-99 4A, be sure and leave it there for about 20 seconds before you press any key so the Raspberry Pi can go ahead and boot up. Once you do that, type in call Tippie. Now we're going to switch over to my capture device so you can get a better look at what the screen actually looks like. Alright, so it's booting up, and the first thing that you want to do is go to the Wi-Fi settings by pressing S. Then type in your SSID or Wi-Fi ID. In my case, it's Lucas24. Once you do that, you want to press P to enter the Wi-Fi password. Then press W, and the settings will be written to the Raspberry Pi, and you'll soon connect up to your Wi-Fi. It may take 30 seconds or so, but once done, you'll see the IP address in the upper right. Next, I'm going to press J and assign myTI99.com to the URI 1. It's basically an alias. Then I press W to write it, and then Q to quit. To take full advantage of your microSD card size, go into Call Tippie, enter this, tippie.net.telnet, select 1 for a 40 column, type in localhost, port 23, and then log in as Tippie, TIPI, and password is TIPI as well. Once you do that, then type in the command sudo raspi-config -expand -root fs, press enter, and then enter the password Tippie, and it'll expand the file system to the full size of your microSD card. From there, you can just do sudo reboot, press enter, and your Raspberry Pi will be rebooted. If you prefer not to use the TI, you can also use PuTTY. Just download it from www.putty.org, enter Tippie as the host name, 22 as your port, SSH, and type Tippie, save, and open. From there, type in Tippie as the login, Tippie as the password, and you are connected to your Raspberry Pi. Another networking Tippie tip is that you can go to the share on the Tippie, and in this case I'm just going to type //Tippie, go to the Tippie share, and I'm going to restore my original Tippie backup. So I'm going to select the files, then right click, copy, and paste it directly into the Tippie share. Avoid overwriting any of these files here, as it will cause problems for you. And there you have it. All the files are copied and accessible by Tippie. The Tippie also has a really cool web interface. Just enter this into your address bar, Tippie:9900, and then from there you can access the files or disks on your Tippie. So I'm going to browse the directory structure here, go to Graphics, TI Artist, and I can see all the files. I can go up a level by clicking the two dots here. It'll go up a level. And I can also take a look at one of my basic programs, and in fact I can actually edit it here and resave it back and run it on the TI. Pretty cool. At this point, if you made any changes, you can save and exit. If you need to download any of the files, you can also click the icon here to download the file to your computer. If you need to delete one of the files, just select it and select delete and submit. You can also convert V99 files. You can get more information about your Tippie. Here I have version 2.5 running and so much more. I'm going to show you a cool app to allow you to talk to other TI users. We'll type in call Tippie, parenthesis, double quote, and then we're going to type in uri1.chatty. That'll go to the TI99 website and load up Chatty. First time you go to myTI99.com, you'll have to create an account. So in this case, I'm going to use my existing one. So I'm going to go to myTI99.com as the host. There we go. And the port is going to be 9918. Press enter. Screen name. I'll use my existing Johnny Cool and enter my password. Press enter, and you have success. Now we'll hit space to proceed. I don't have any messages, but I can go ahead and press S and search for someone I may want to chat with. So I'm just going to type in J, press enter, and it'll give everybody's name that has a J in it. And there is J Data. And I'll just send him a quick message and let him know everything is going just great with the TIPI 32k. Now I'm going to show you one of my favorite games to play with the Tippie, and that's SNEC. First time you start it up, let's go into C for config, and then from there you want to press S so the settings get synchronized to myTI99.com. And now we hit back, and I see I'm still on the list. That's good. Number 2. Alright, so basically you started out using the arrow keys. You can use the joystick, but I always use the arrow keys. And the trick is not to run into the walls. And it may seem easy, but it's not. It's all timing, and it's a fun game. Highly recommend this being one of the first games that you try with your Tippie. And as you can see here, this is where I died. Very cool game. Alright, so let's take a look at chess, another fun game to play. This is an interactive game that you play with others. So, for instance, you start out a game, one player plays, then the other one plays, and you keep taking turns. If you want to see more, I've got another video. I'll put a link up above that shows you a little bit more detail about this game, as well as SNEC, Chatty, and a few others. I also want to quickly demonstrate that the speech synthesizer works just fine. Here we got TI Extended Basic.
Hello there.
And the speech synthesizer is plugged in to the right of the Tippie.
How are you?
Works great. Don't just power off your TI without properly shutting down the Pi. If you do, you risk potentially corrupting the microSD card. So to shut it down, press H, and then once you do that, you will see in the top where it says halting Pi, and it'll do a clean shutdown of the Raspberry Pi. Once it's stopped, it'll tell you it's stopped and it's safe to power off the Pi. One last thing that I want to show you about the Tippie is actually using it with a wireless mouse. To do that, you're going to need this L adapter. Plug it into the micro USB port, the one on the left, then plug in your cable. Slide the cable in through the bottom of the case, attach the wireless dongle, and then close everything up. Now we'll go ahead and slide it into the TI here. Turn on the TI. And we're going to launch Stewart's browser. I've got a more detailed video on this if you'd like to see that. But we're going to go to wagnerstechtalk.com, TI-99, z.htm. And as you can see, the mouse is working great. We can click a hyperlink here. Now this is using some custom code in order to render properly on the TI. It's not the typical HTML, but it's very similar. We'll go to the TI-99 4A links page. And from there, we'll have a few links that we can play around and explore. We'll go to the graphics demo. And you'll see from here, you can actually include graphics as well as hotspots on the graphics, which is pretty cool. It's amazing that the TI-99 4A can remain a relevant system for fun and tinkering in 2020. The door has been opened to the outside world, the internet. Something that I find truly fascinating for a machine that is quickly approaching 40 years of age. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this information informative and perhaps inspirational. Huge thank you to Jedi Matt 42, Electric Lab, and JData for making this all possible. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more from Wagner's Tech Talk, please click the subscribe. And with that, I shall talk to you very soon.